Hello vinyl community, Mark here again from Sound Matters, talking all things vinyl. As always, I'm going to talk about record collecting accessories today, the tools that can enhance your record collecting experience. We're going to start with some of the more obvious tools that I think are essential for any record collector, and then move on to some that perhaps maybe you haven't considered that you might want to now consider adding to your tools, your toolkit and your record collecting arsenal, so to speak. And if I've missed one, let me know down in the comments, and I'd love to hear what your suggestions are. I'm going to break this video probably into a couple of videos just because there's so many different accessories to share, but I will start with some of the more basic essentials that I think are just, you know, must-haves for any collector, starting with a carbon fiber record brush. These are, I think, invaluable to any record collector. If you use one of these before and after playing each side on your records, then you're going to massively cut down the amount of wet cleaning that you're going to have to do to any particular record over time. And you're also going to protect the stylus from building up dust as it plays the record as well. Try as we might, reduce the amount of dust that our records are exposed to, you will get some surface level dust, but regularly, religiously kind of using one of these brushes before and after each side will dramatically control it, cut it down, stop it building up and getting ploughed down into the groove and causing a bigger problem further down the line. Links to all the products I mentioned in this video, of course, will be in the description of this video, so you can check them out for yourself. Next on the list, however, is a stylus cleaning kit, because no matter how careful we are at controlling dust, some buildup of dust on the stylus eventually is inevitable, and you're going to have to keep your stylus clean to make sure it lasts as long as it possibly can, and also to preserve the high sound quality that you'd expect. I use the SC1 stylus cleaning kit from Groove Washer, which comes with a really nice gentle cleaning fluid, very safe on your stylus, and also this nice ergonomic brush, which makes it very easy to clean the stylus safely without damaging the cantilever. The bristles are just thick enough to go through without causing any major disturbance to the cantilever, which might damage the mechanism, the suspension of it, or worse, bend or twist it in any way. So I do recommend this particular brush. I think it's superior to a lot of the cheap record cleaning kits available in marketplaces like Amazon, for example. You might see brushes like this, which I think is a much poorer design, not a very ergonomic design at all, and I think just the design of the bristles makes it more likely that you'll damage the cantilever. As well, you might see something like this. This, again, nice idea, similar idea, nice length to it, but the bristles are so dense that I think you risk damaging the cantilever in the process. You might also see little gel products like this, Onslow Zero Dust perhaps being the most well known. I personally don't like these. They kind of scare me, particularly with bonded stylus or styli, that it might damage or pull the actual diamond tip away in some way. Other people, have perhaps used them and really get on with them. Personally, they're just not for me. They kind of scare me a little bit. This next one is a little left field, a little unusual. So I recommend getting one of these. This is a lady's makeup brush, but they are actually really useful tools for cleaning the top of amplifiers, preamps, around the surface of your turntable, cleaning dust off the lid of those areas and gently going around some of the more sort of crevices of some of the gear, so long as you're careful, of course. They don't cost very much, and I found them to be an invaluable tool by the side of the turntable for a light spruce up of some of the equipment, and again, just keeping that dust at bay. Dust really is the enemy of record collectors, and it just looks unsightly when it builds up on your equipment too. The next product I'm going to recommend is a Stylus tracking force gauge. You can pick up these digital ones for just over $10 on Amazon, and they're absolutely brilliant for just making sure that we've got the correct tracking force set as per the guidelines of the optimal tracking force set by the cartridge manufacturer. So we want to be within that range to make sure we don't damage the cantilever or the stylus or the cartridge over time, of course, and you can set that manually by balancing the tone arm, of course, and using the counterweight to set the appropriate tracking force, but we can't tell whether it's absolutely 100% dialed in. I like to know that it's set exactly as it should be, and these gauges make this really simple. No video on vinyl record accessories would be complete without a record cleaning kit, and as most of you will know that subscribe to this channel by this point, I do recommend the Groove Washer record cleaning fluids, and of course I have to tell you they do sponsor the show, but they're really superb and I use them personally myself and think what they do is absolutely fantastic. But what I'm going to recommend, as aside from their standard record cleaning kits, is that you invest in their other type of cleaning pad, which is the velvet one. So there's the standard microfiber based cleaning pad that they make, and then they make this velvet based design. And the reason I think it's great to have both of these is that I use this one first of all because it really locks into the grooves and gives you some mechanical cleaning process, and does a great job of spreading the record cleaning fluid around. And then after the record cleaning fluid sat on the record surface for a little while and been cleaned up with some of that mechanical action with this, I then mop it all up with the more absorbent version, which is the standard microfiber towel. If you go through that two-step process with manual record cleaning, I think you're going to see much better results. If you'd like to try the Groove Washer stuff out for yourself for a 10% discount, then you can do so using the discount code that I've included in the description of this video. Let me know what you think. I genuinely like to hear feedback from people who try the products I recommend. If you play a lot of 7-inch 45 singles, then you're going to come across some of those that have the larger RCA style jukebox center hole, and you're going to need to fill that with a 45 adapter. Now, a lot of record players will ship with these very cheap, flimsy plastic versions, which do the job but are pretty uninspiring and not very well made. And of course, if your turntable doesn't ship with one of these, and you're going to have to buy your own 45 adapter, I recommend you at least go and get yourself a nice machined aluminium, or aluminum as you guys say in the States, version. These are much sturdier, much better quality, a much better quality, sturdier fit as well in terms of fitting the center hole. I really like these machined aluminium ones. This is a black coated one, but you can get very similar ones on Amazon. Again, the links will be in the description to all of these products. If you happen to live in a very dry climate, then static electricity can be a real headache for record collectors. If this sounds like you, then I would recommend investing into a Milty Zero Stat, this anti-static gun. Now, I actually don't find I use this very often, being based in the UK, which is a much more damp kind of climate overall, not very dry, but in certain climates, these are absolutely invaluable, because while you could actually just wet clean your records to kill any electric charge, you don't want to over clean a record, and you should choose the least abrasive method possible. If you're getting regular buildup of static, if static is a real problem for you, then this is a completely contactless way to remove static charge. This anti-static gun incorporates a piezo crystal device that produces negative and positive ions that couple with the positive and negative static charges on the record surface to neutralize static. It sounds like black magic, but it works. When it comes to upgrading or changing your cartridge, you're going to want to make sure that it is correctly aligned and fitted on your tone arm. So to do this, you will need some form of cartridge protractor. If you are lucky, you may receive a basic paper one from your manufacturer when you buy the turntable. Turntable manufacturers will have different alignment methods that they may recommend as well, so I recommend that you check with your turntable manufacturer to see if they have a preferred approach, say Bearwold for example, or Stevenson method, those being some of the most common. They have pros and cons, but definitely check with your tone arm manufacturer to see which one is best suited for your deck. And it also depends to a degree on the kind of music you listen to, but that's a topic for another day. I do recommend though you look into a mirrored cartridge protractor, and here's why. A mirrored cartridge protractor helps you establish a proper viewing angle and reduce parallax errors. Parallax errors occur when the position of an object appears to differ when viewed from different angles. The correct viewing angle is achieved when you visually align the top layer lines with the bottom layer lines on the mirrored Protractor. So as you're gathering by this, turntable setup tools are pretty important to make sure we set the turntable up properly. And one aspect of this that is very often overlooked is getting the actual turntable level to make sure gravity is not doing any disservice to our vinyl playback experience. It's really simple to do this, and they're such cheap tools to buy as well. You just get these little spirit bubbles like this one here, place it on the platter surface, and then use the adjustable feet on your turntable, if you're lucky enough to have them, to make sure that you have a perfectly level playing surface for that record. If you don't have adjustable feet, then of course you just have to raise or lower the legs of your, or the feet, you know, of your turntable in any way you can find. A lot of people use things like beer mats, coins, things like that they can kind of put under there to get a more even surface. So for the sake of keeping these videos short, I'm going to pause there for this week, but I'll be back next week with part 2 of this series with more essential record collecting accessories. But until then, let me know which ones you would include down in the comments below, and let me know if you use any of these yourself. I'd love to hear what you think or what you use, or any alternative suggestions to the products that I've mentioned. I'd love to hear your experiences as always in that comment section. But if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on board my vinyl journey with you guys. And if you'd like to support this channel further in what I do, you can do so through either Patreon, where there's exclusive content every single month for Patreon paying members only, and of course there's the usual discount codes from my products, my partners and sponsors, where you can get money off vinyl gear to feed your vinyl habit at no extra cost to you. I get a very small commission at no extra cost to you, and I appreciate your support. So until that next video, guys, please do keep enjoying the music, and I will see you in that next video. Until then, keep spinning.